So you felt like this main event result was an eventuality. You felt like this matchup for Derek Lewis at whatever stage of his career was just not good. And obviously you lauded Sergey Spivac in the process, but you made it a 3-unit play. And whether you stayed up until 3:30 in the morning or not, it didn't take long for you to get this one home. So what were your thoughts on the budding heavyweight contender, Sergey Spivac?
I think it's a reminder for everyone out there who gets excited when they see a guy lean out. We are so programmed to look at visual things like what we see. Oh, the guy looks jacked and he looks this and he looks leaned out. And I saw him lift this and this. Like, nobody cares. You need skills at the end of the day. Okay. And Spivac was a terrible matchup for Derek Lewis. I am just always blown away by Spivac and how technical his takedowns are. Nobody seems to be talking about this or appreciating the high-level takedowns that he's doing. This isn't just a regular single leg or a double leg, which, of course, can be appreciated and are very difficult to pull off. But when I see a guy looking for foot trips and immediately combo off of that into a head and arm throw right into side control, this is high-level stuff, guys. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to execute high-level judo skills in mixed martial arts. So Spivac's a problem. He stayed on Derek Lewis and he exposed a vulnerability in Derek Lewis that is just not going to get shored up at this stage of the game. Yes, he looked like he was leaner, but that's not going to improve his jiu-jitsu skills. He's got to be on the ground working that every single day, a couple times a day. That is the hardest skill: grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, sambo, whatever the grappling skill. You need to improve that and do it for a long period of time. And Derek Lewis has never looked comfortable. He's never looked dangerous on the ground. He always seems like he's lost down there. And that's going to be the case moving forward. This is why it was not a good fight for him, and the lack of consistency, and then the full consistency on Spivac's side. This is a guy who's very consistent. He knows exactly what he needs to do, goes out there and executes it. And I thought it was a very, very clean performance from him.
I'm really excited to see Sergey Spivac now against one of the heavyweight division's elite. And Cody, if you could populate the chat with the top 10, I'd appreciate that. Sometimes it is hard to quantify what you're seeing. Even for somebody like me who is paid to watch these UFC live events 25 times a year, am I supposed to sort of denigrate Derek Lewis because I feel, not that I feel shortchanged by the main event, like I felt like I knew what was going to happen. Our podcast producer felt like Derek Lewis, felt like Spivac should have been minus 1,000, right? Like, am I supposed to credit Spivac as you have done, or am I supposed to just get excited about Spivac now against one of the division's elite? Because candidly for me, Kenny, I woke up to watch this fight and I didn't even bother not getting a spoiler. It just felt like an eventuality, right? Yeah. Just avoid that early onslaught from Derek Lewis or whatever it is, get him down. And, Derek Lewis was able to, force these perpetual mat returns because he was able to get up. But my gosh, man, I don't know. If I look at Shamil Abdurrahimov against Jailton Almeida, at least Shamil is desperate and urgent and right. Am I nuts?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And this is a performance, unfortunately, I would think that is going to cause the UFC to really look at Derek Lewis and go, I don't know if we can have him in a main event again. And that's going to hurt him in a lot of different ways. And maybe he's done, maybe he doesn't really care about that stuff. But for the UFC, it's unfortunate because he was one of those guys that you can rely on to go out there, fight hard. But I think that that weakness on the ground, his inability to adapt and adjust over time and really improve that skill. And this performance here where he literally did nothing. There is not a lot of times as a fighter, you're like, okay, I lost, but let me see what I can do to improve. And let me look for some positives here. There's just no positives here for Derek Lewis in this fight, unfortunately. I love the guy. He's hilarious. He's always going to be dangerous on the feet. But this was one of those where I'm not sure we'll see him in a main event for a very long time unless he's able to go on some kind of long streak. Because right now, you're not selling the fans on a Derek Lewis main event at any time.
No, you're right. And you say it respectfully as usual. You give him a striker, maybe on pay-per-view, but you can't give him a well-rounded top 7 heavyweight at this stage of his career. It's just not going to happen.